Tara Show.
American woman, an American girl.
The Tara Show. News Talk 98.9.
WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
And this is Ron DeSantis live with us this morning. Good morning, Governor.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Good. Congratulations on the announcement.
Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, we had a lot of interest, and we actually melted down Twitter's servers, and so we were excited to see that interest. And, they couldn't accommodate it at first, but we got it going, and we ended up getting a lot of people signing up to support the campaign. So we're excited.
Real quick, promote this. I know you are going to be in the Greenville area. People want to come hear you on the stump like I did in Spartanburg. You did a great job with that. It was totally packed. Our whole family went. Where can we find you coming up?
So we're planning on being in South Carolina Friday, June 2nd. We're going to start in the Low Country in Hilton Head, then go to Columbia, then at the last stop of the day we'll be in Greenville. So we're going to put out that information on all the locations and everything later today, and we look forward to seeing people. Yeah, you're right. It was a fantastic event when we were there for my book a couple months ago. People were really fired up, and look, it's a great state. My wife is a graduate of college at Charleston, and her parents both live in South Carolina, so we've spent a lot of times in various parts of the state, and we're looking forward to being back.
Well, let's dive in, Governor, because we don't have a lot of time. As an old campaign manager who gets into the numbers, what you've done in Florida is simply astonishing. And can I offer you some criticism? I don't think you take enough credit for it. I mean, this is unbelievable. I mean, we have not won a popular vote in this country since 2004. We're in trouble as a party, but you built in a state so similar to the nation where the Democrats, had a multi-100,000 registration lead in Florida. You barely win in 2018. This is the standard. Whoever wins in Florida up until you barely wins, right? You come back in 2022. You win by 20 points. You flip Democrat areas like Miami-Dade. You lead Republicans across the state to historic wins. You win almost 60% of the Hispanic vote. You win by a margin for a Republican that hasn't been seen since 1868, and by the largest margin for any candidate, Democrat or Republican, in 40 years. How did you do it, and can you do it nationwide?
So the answer to the second question is yes. The answer to the first question is when I got elected by 32,000 votes, as you mentioned, that was standard for Florida. These were one-point races, and I was told when I was getting ready to take office, hey, it's a very delicate political balance here. Don't upset the apple cart. Be careful. You don't want to rock the boat too much because that balance could flip against you if you start doing things too boldly. And I rejected that advice. My view is I earn the executive power. I'm going to pursue a bold agenda. People are going to know where I stand. We're not doing pale pastels. And so from really day one, we just spit nails. Everything I said I would do, I followed through with. We delivered really big results. And then, of course, the re-election, we won by over 1.5 million votes, 20-point margin. I think what it shows is bold leadership is rewarded. When you have a strong agenda and you're out and people know where you stand and they see that you're standing up for them, you can get people who aren't Republicans to come and vote for us. And that's the thing. You can't do Florida by 20 points just getting Republicans. We won independents by 18%, and we even converted Democrats. And I think the registration change you've seen in Florida since I've been governor, part of it is people have migrated here, but part of it is we're getting a lot of those blue-collar Democrats, a lot of Latinos, switching from Democrat to Republican. So can it be done nationally? Yes. I think it needs to be done nationally because I don't think we have a path to victory unless you show that you're able to have a bold agenda that's going to attract more than just our core base. And what I've told people is the time for excuses is over for Republicans. I'm sick of this culture of losing. If you nominate me as a Republican candidate, you set your clock to January 20th, 2025, high noon, and on the west side of the Capitol, I'll have that left hand on the Bible, I will have that right hand raised in the air, and I will be taking the oath as the 47th President of the United States. I'll get it done, and then we'll get to work, and we'll fix this country.
What are your three big priorities? What do you do right away? What are you going to focus on?
So I think border, economy, and reining in the administrative state and the bureaucracy. And I think there's a lot of other issues that flow from all of those. But I'll work to shut the border down. Day one, we'll declare a national emergency. We're not going to be entertaining millions of people flooding in with bogus asylum claims. We were going to hold the drug cartels accountable. I will actually construct the border wall. I know how to use the levers of power to be able to get that done, and we'll make that happen. On the economy, I mean, we've got to stop spending so much money. I will fight Congress if they're spending too much money. We can't have a Federal Reserve that's printing so much money and causing you and other people in South Carolina across the country to have to pay more for everything. It's harder to maintain a middle-class lifestyle today because of Joe Biden's policies. We'll also rip up Biden's anti-domestic energy executive orders. We have the ability to produce energy here in the United States. We need to embrace that. It's good for our economy. It's good for consumers. It's also good for national security. And then we need to reconstitutionalize this government. We have agencies like DOJ and FBI that have been weaponized. Part of the reason that's happened is there's no accountability. Presidents have not been willing to go in and really hold people accountable. I mean, for example, you have FBI people colluding with social media networks to censor things like Hunter Biden's story and this other stuff. I would fire those people the next day. I mean, you can't go out and abuse your power and have no repercussions. And so this fourth branch of government that has developed over many, many decades, we're going to bring that to heel. And we have to do it because we right now have a situation in our country, the most significant issues generally now don't even go through the Congress. The people that we vote to represent us, they're done through the bureaucracy. And you see it with Biden, with what he's trying to do with energy, with what he's tried to do for so many other issues. That is not the people governing themselves when that happens. And so our view is we need to return the government to its rightful owners, we the people.
Amen to that, Governor DeSantis. When you were in Congress, a lot of people don't know this about you. You were a founding member of the Freedom Caucus. That was a brave thing to be at the time. And you also were one of the 6 signatories in 2018 demanding investigations of James Comey. You signed alongside our own Jeff Duncan, and you signed alongside Jim Jordan. Again, a very brave thing to do because the Republican leadership was still very much invested in the idea that Trump might have had some Russian influence. So you've got a history of taking on not just the Democrats, but some of the elites in Washington. Can we count on you to do it again?
Oh, of course. Another thing I did, I was a congressman, and I put forward a measure, an amendment to an appropriations bill to defund the Mueller investigation, which was kind of the Beltway class's sacred cow. Yeah. They worship Mueller. All the Republicans would always say, oh, he's such a great guy, all this other stuff. But I opposed the Mueller investigation from the start. I didn't think it was justified, and I tried to actually shut it down. That was not something that the Republican establishment was very happy with. So we have a consistent track record of doing what's right. The problem that you see in Washington is, there's a ruling class up there. And yes, it's mostly led by Democrats, but these establishment Republicans are really junior partners. And so they work with the Democrats against our own voter base on a lot of key issues. And I think I'll be, as president, I'll be able to set the tone that, hey, we're going to do what we said we were going to do. These people that put us into office, they want us to get these things done, and we're going to do it. And I think too many Republicans over the years, they campaign on conservative values and conservative issues. Then they get elected, and it's like they forget about everything they said they would do during the campaign, and they just become part of the club up there. And that swamp culture needs to be broken. So I think I have a track record where everyone knows where I stand on that. I never was part of that club at the time I was up there.
You weren't.
And then I've governed in Florida in a way which we've taken on the elites across a whole wide range of issues. I mean, we banned central bank digital currency in Florida. We're the first one to do that. That's a hobby horse of a lot of the elite set.
Yeah.
We're going against woke capital and taking on all these important fights, and so that will continue. I have a proven track record, and ultimately, what you've done in the past in terms of making strong stands against the grain, if you have a history of doing that, you're much more likely to be able to do that in a cesspool like D.C.
Governor Ron DeSantis, I know you got to go. Where can people find you to donate, volunteer, find out more about you?
Go to rondesantis.com, and we would love to have a donation. We've had huge support so far. We got to keep the momentum going. And my pledge to everybody is, you nominate me, I'm going to win this thing, and we're going to change the country.
Good luck. Best of luck to you, Governor. We'll be watching. Hope you'll be back. Will you come back?
Yeah, absolutely. God bless you. Thank you.
You too.